are going to read a very funny story about a kidnapping that goes wrong for the kidnappers. And the title is The Ransom of Red Chief. So the little boy in this story is a challenge for the kidnappers, and you can find him behaving terribly. The author has written this story in the voice of a kidnapper who is not a well-educated man. As you will see his way of speaking, you can spot that he does not use standard English. For example, he says Bill and me. Instead, he must say Bill and I. So you will read many interesting and funny things in this story with me. So let's start our reading. A story about a kidnapping in which the kidnappers get more than they bargained for. So we were down south in Alabama, Bill Driscoll and myself. So one of the kidnappers is telling the story, and he says, when this kidnapping idea struck us means suddenly came into our mind. Bill and me had about $600 and we needed just $2,000 more to buy some land in western Illinois. We figured that family love is strongest in semi-rural communities and decided to do our kidnapping in Summit. Figured mean guessed, so they guessed that family love is strongest in these areas where semi-rural communities live. So they thought that the kidnapping would be more advantageous there. So we selected for our victim the only child of a prominent citizen, famous citizen named Ebenezer Dorsey. Mr. Dorsey was known for his wealth, which he made from lending mortgages and making foreclosures. Mortgages mean to give property on his own property and take loan for that property. The kid was a boy of 10 with freckles and bright red hair. Bill and me figured that Ebenezer would agree to pay a ransom of $2,000, but wait till I tell you what happened. Ransom mean money to release the kidnapped one. So about 2 miles from Summit was a little tree-covered mountain. On the rear slope, at the back of the slope of this mountain, was a cave. There we stored provisions. Provisions mean their food, their drinks, and their equipments. Hey! One evening we drove in a buggy past old Dorsey's house. Now they are in the street where Dorsey's house is located. The kid was in the street throwing rocks at a kitten on the opposite fence. Hey, says Bill, would you like some candy? The boy threw a piece of brick at Bill's head. So this was the first reaction from the boy that he made towards the kidnappers. He doesn't know that the men are here to kidnap him, but the reaction of the boy shows that he is not going to be an easy one. He is a big challenge for the kidnappers. That boy put up a fight, but at last, we got him in the buggy and drove up to the cave. After dark, I drove the buggy back to the village I had hired it in and walked back. We walked back to the cave. Bill was examining and threatening and treating the scratches, scraps, and bruises, cuts on his face and legs. So Bill is busy with his scraps and cuts that he got on his face and legs. So there was a fire burning in the cave, and the boy was sitting by it with two bizarre tail figures stuck in his red hair. As you can see in the picture that the boy has stuck these tail feathers in his red hair. He points a stick at me and says, "Ha, cursed pale face, do you dare to enter Red Chief's camp? So the boy is considering himself a Red Chief, and he questions him that, how do you dare to enter my camp? The boy has actually created a drama in the cave. He's all right now, says Bill. We are playing Red Indian. I am all Hank, Red Chief's captive, and I am to be scalped at daybreak. Scalp mean to blow someone's head, and daybreak mean early in the morning. So Bill is the captive of Red Chief now, the boy, and the boy is going to scalp his head early in the morning. Ouch, that kid can kick hard. That boy seemed very happy. The fun of camping out had made him forget that he was a captive, when he was a prisoner. He immediately named me Snake Eye the Spy and announced that I was to meet my end the next day. Then we had supper, meal in the evening, and he filled his mouth full of meat, bread and gravy and talked. His speech went something like this: I never camped out before, it's fun, but I had a pet once and I was 9 last birthday. Are there any real Red Indian in these woods, in these forests? So you can see and you can read how strange and how nonsense and absurd questions he is going to make. For example, I want some more gravy. Do the moving trees make the wind blow? We had 5 puppies. What makes your nose so red, Hank? My father has lots of money. Are the stars hot? Do oxen make any noise? Why are oranges round? A parrot can talk, but a monkey or a fish can't. So these are the questions, absurd questions that boy is constantly making from the kidnappers. Every few minutes he would remember that he was a Red Indian. You can notice here that Bill and the speaker are constantly using mistaking while speaking, as they have used the wrong article, that is an. Here must be the article of a Red Indian, and would let out a war whoop. War whoop mean a battle that made all Hank shiver. That boy had Bill terrorized from the start. That boy has terrorized Bill from the very start. I says, you can see here again a mistake that the speaker is making, as I have told you that the speaker is not using standard English. We say, kid, would you like to go home? Oh, what for? Says he. I don't have any fun at home. I hate school. I like camping. You won't take me home, Snake Eye, will you? Not right away, says I. Yay, says he. I never had such fun in all my life. At about 11 o'clock, we spread down some white blankets and went to bed. Red Chief kept us awake for 3 hours, jumping up and reaching for his rifle and screeching mean shrieking and screaming in our ears, as each crackle of a twig mean a branch, or the rustle mean the movement of the leaves. A leaf made him imagine that outlaws were approaching. Outlaws mean criminals were approaching. At last, I fell into a troubled sleep and dreamed that I had been kidnapped and chained to a tree by a ferocious pirate with red hair. Ferocious mean cruel, and pirate mean the criminals and robbers at the sea. So you can see how challenging the boy is.
Just at daybreak, I was awakened by awful screams from Bill. Awful mean unpleasant. I jumped up to see what the matter was. Red Chief, mean the boy, was sitting on Bill's chest, holding him by the hair. In his other hand he had the sharp knife and he was seriously trying to take Bill's scalp. He was trying to blow the Bill's head as he had promised the evening before. I got the knife away from the kid and made him lie down again. But from that moment, Bill's spirit was broken. Bill lost his heart. He lay down on his side of the bed, but he never closed an eye again in sleep as long as that boy was with us. Ain't it awful, Sam? No one will pay money to get a little imp like that back. A naughty one. His parents will, says I. I went to the top of the little mountain and looked around. Over towards summit, I expected to see a search party. So the speaker is expecting to see a search party for the boy, but what I saw was a peaceful landscape. Perhaps, says I to myself, it has not been discovered. What has not been discovered? The kidnapping of the boy actually has not been discovered yet. So this was your reading for today. We will read the next slot of our reading and we will see that how the boy is creating more dramas in the cave for the kidnappers and how the boy is released. So see you in some other class. Till then, take care. Allah Hafiz.